So, a difficult topic that's super important for me to be able to invite anyone to come live with me or participate in workshops and stuff like that is how much to charge. And based on the messages I get, people want everything to be fucking free. It's not going to be free, you dumbass. If you're one of those people, just think of me as being an evil fucker who will not give you everything I own for free. Yeah, I'm that kind of fucking capitalist shithead. So just go away, you delusional piece of shit. If you want to be part of a functional system that has a lot of wealth that they're putting into good things, that, people who live pretty simply and enjoy the benefits of being around other awesome people who are also contributing, then we can talk. And I don't know how to set that price, and it won't be exactly the same for everyone. Now, what a lot of people say, that most people who contact me, are that they want to live in exchange for their labor. That can be the case for some people, and there's roles that can totally be the case for. But that person has to do really well in that role. And it's not a guaranteed job for the rest of your fucking life where somebody else is just going to magically pay for you. I'm not a sugar daddy for anybody. I have paid a lot for people. I have lost money for 20 years hosting people, always losing money. And they had a blast. And I had a good time too. A lot of them are very nice people. A lot of them are very wealthy people who have never had a job even. They just travel the world. Well, that's going to change. I can't grow the place and survive and have a bunch of people together sharing it and invest in the land and infrastructure unless people are paying. So, even though there's a variety of ways that people could potentially come in exchange for their labor, most of the people have to be paying. They have to be bringing in resources from the outside somehow. Now, how much should that be? Well, I've thought about just pegging it to some other amount, because that amount changes according to inflation, because money's all fake anyway. And then it wouldn't be a discussion about, what I set it at. It would just be like, oh, it's pegged to this thing. Like, for example, I could peg it to the minimum wage of this country or that country or whatever, and say that's the amount it costs to stay here. And then anybody coming here would be, hopefully, we're building everyone up to make more money. I would want to attract a lot of remote workers who could make money in richer places and then invest it here. And I'm thinking it could be as much as, this is 2005 right now, it could be as much as $2,000 a month, because that's a lot of money. And there's a lot of people who make way more than that. I know people who make $10,000 a month. And there's people who make way more than that. And it's like, well, let's get those folks together, because then we can build a really amazing society. And money is no longer an issue. And if we're all living cheap and healthy and getting all of our social needs fulfilled with each other, and it could just be absolutely astounding. And that would add up really quick. I mean, I live in a pretty cheap place. I live in a way that's cheaper than I would like to, because I want to install solar panels and have some luxuries. I want to build saunas that serve us to keep us clean and happy. I want to have warm, pleasant housing that doesn't have rats in it, And so if you actually got together 100, 150, 200 people, all of whom are paying $2,000 a month, holy shit, that's a lot of money. And I don't need to live a rich lifestyle. It's not my goal at all. I mean, I should live a healthier lifestyle, but we could then be building root cellars. We could build buildings that are passive solar and are really super comfortable. We could have some fun toys. We could make a science laboratory. We can make sure we have good internet all the time. We could have an intranet, internal network for sharing resources and communications and stuff. Like, I just got all these crazy ass great ideas, and we could survive. We could set it up so we have food stored, so if there's an interruption in the food supply, we don't have a problem. We'd be off grid, so we'd have our own microgrids that were connected to each other, and so we'd have our own power system so the power doesn't go out. We could grow the food forest so that it's producing way, way more. We could employ some people who aren't paying and even get paid. But building them up, building their skills up, and everybody should have enough money to leave. That's absolutely critical. Because if people don't have money to leave, then you're setting yourself up for abusive situations, like fucked up cult shit. Or even families and relationships have that, where somebody doesn't have enough money to leave, and that puts that person in a weak position. So even if you had a job that was internal to the system, you were working in the community, and you were paid by the community, you still have to be essentially independently wealthy, so that you have the option to leave anytime you want. And there can be various sub-communities that have different types of lifestyle and ways of being. It's places for older folks, even in hospice, waiting to die. It's something that's going to happen to all of us. We're all going to die. So you have that. You've got kids areas. You've got spaces that are more open to the public and then completely private. And so I think $2,000 a month, it sounds high because that's a lot of money, but to get to live in such an amazing place, and also that would be a good number to have because, ideally I would collect people who are making far more than that, and that was no problem for them. But right now, food, housing, everything could be included within that. There'd be different ideas about how to run the food system, and you definitely don't want to have everything just be free because that encourages waste. So, I used to run a buffet in my place, and I actually sat across from somebody at the table, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know if I can fit in more food, and I think I can do one more plate." And it's just like, you fucking pig. You're just wasting food. And it was because it was open food, all you can eat. And it's like, no, that's a bad way to do it. So there are systems that you could set up that would disallow waste. For example, a sauna is a great solution for keeping really clean, like being way cleaner than if you took a shower. But if you offer just infinite hot showers to people, some people will take a fucking 40-minute shower because it feels good to have hot water on you, and they'll just waste a ton of water. Like colossal amounts. In other words, you've set up a system that encourages waste. So I don't want to do that. So some things within the system you would still charge for. So like free food all the time, bad idea probably. Some people could control themselves, but some people wouldn't. And they'll become obese and get diabetes, and then you're stuck with a fat, sick fuck. That's not okay. And that's not body shaming. That's just saying you're fucked up. Definitely would not want to have free alcohol either. Because I would drink it all. I got my problems too, And so you have to set up systems that don't allow people to be a problem. We want to help people by setting up systems that don't allow it. The various ways that we could tend to be. And at heart, we all are kind of flawed, I suppose. There's a great book. It's The Elephant in the Brain. Elephant in the Mind. Elephant in the Brain. One of those. Look that up. We kind of tend towards being selfish creatures. And that does not work well for community. So we have to design it to not support that. It's a controversial bunch of shit, I know. But That's the difference between a community that's going to survive and one that does not survive. Tricky shit, man.